Peter Parker had seen a lot of strange things in his time as Spider-Man. Alien invasions, rogue symbiotes, lizard men crawling out of sewers. But the reports coming out of Queens had a different kind of chill. Dogs ripped apart in alleys. Claw marks across dumpsters like something out of a horror film. The last one shook him. A sanitation worker found unconscious, mauled, babbling about glowing eyes and a howl that rattled the bones. He crouched on a rusted ledge of a long-abandoned Oscorp research facility. The place was overgrown, haunted by nature and time. Ivy snaked up the cracked facade. Broken security lights flickered, casting erratic shadows. This was where the trail led. Oscorp again. It always came back to Oscorp. As he adjusted the lens of his mask, a scream echoed in the dark. Peter launched himself toward the sound. In the alley behind the building, a man cowered under a loading dock. Standing over him was a wolf. But not just any wolf. This thing was massive, nearly 7 feet tall, its body glowing faintly with green veins that pulsed like liquid fire. The fur shimmered with an eerie, irradiated gleam, and its eyes burned with an intelligence too sharp to be animal. Peter shot a web, yanking the man to safety. The creature leapt with inhuman speed, slamming Peter into a brick wall with a guttural snarl. Claws like razors slashed through his suit, grazing his chest. Before he could counter, the wolf sank its fangs into his shoulder. Burning pain seared through him, and then it vanished into the night, as if swallowed by shadows. Panting, Peter stared at the bloody gash. Okay, that's new. The next morning he awoke in a cold sweat. His apartment stank of sweat, ozone, and something muskier. The wound ached, but had already begun healing. Too fast. Then the dreams started. Forests, hunts, blood on his tongue. Within days, his senses sharpened. Sounds became unbearable. Smells painted the world in overwhelming detail. He could hear his neighbors arguing 2 floors below and smell the nicotine on the mailman's jacket. Worse, he could feel something inside him stir when the moon rose. A strange hunger that spider sense couldn't ignore. It didn't just warn him of danger anymore. It craved. One night, while tracking another sighting of the glowing wolf in Central Park, Peter felt the transformation begin. His spine cracked. Pain rippled through him. His fingers elongated, sprouting black fur. His mask tore as his jaw stretched forward, revealing long, gleaming fangs. He clutched at his chest, struggling to breathe, to think, to remember who he was as primal instincts surged forward. For a moment, he howled. He ran. Through the trees, over rooftops, across steel and stone, until he collapsed in an alleyway, panting and shivering. Dawn found him curled under a fire escape, human again, but changed. "I'm becoming like Connors," Peter whispered the next day, staring at the scar that refused to fully vanish. Or worse. He turned to Dr. Helen Cho, one of the few scientists he trusted. She ran tests on a blood sample and frowned. "Peter, this isn't just lycanthropy. There's gamma radiation spliced into your DNA. This is engineered, deliberate. Someone made that thing? Not just made it, weaponized it." She showed him a news clipping from a decade ago. Dr. Dorian Vance, a biogeneticist at Oscorp, dismissed for unauthorized hybridization experiments. Missing ever since. Rumor was he tried to combine gamma cell regeneration with parasitic symbiosis. It failed. Or so we thought. Peter's stomach turned. If he's behind this, he's not done. The next full moon, Peter couldn't stop the change. He tried sedatives, isolation, meditation. Nothing worked. He burst from his restraints in Midtown, mid-transformation. But unlike a mindless beast, he retained shards of thought, memories, training, a creature of instinct and precision. A spider wolf. He tore across the city, struggling to suppress the feral urges. Then came the howl. It echoed across rooftops, and Peter felt his body respond involuntarily. His feet turned toward the call. It was summoning him, not with power, but kinship. He followed it to the Bronx Zoo, closed for renovations. Inside, Vance waited, gray-haired, sunken-eyed, with a patchwork lab coat and a glowing gauntlet on his wrist. Around him circled 4 other wolves, each larger than the last, glowing, mutated, controlled. "You came," Vance said. "Good. The Alpha always hears the call. I'm not part of your pack, but you are. You're the culmination. Spider DNA, gamma mutation, and the bite. It bonded. You're stable. You're perfect. My army of gamma wolves were prototypes, but you'll lead them. Together we'll bring Oscorp to its knees. The world will bow to the next evolution." Peter crouched low. "You really need to stop monologuing." "Kill him," Vance ordered. The wolves charged. The fight was chaos, a blur of fur, claws, webs, and fury. Peter danced between them, his agility heightened beyond anything he'd known. He was stronger now, faster, but so were they. He webbed. One to a fence, kicked another into a steel beam, but they kept coming. One bit his arm. His spider sense screamed, not in warning, but in hunger. He almost let go, almost tore into his attacker. But he held back, trembling with restraint. "No," he snarled. "I'm not like you." He turned on Vance, launching forward in a blur. The scientist activated his gauntlet, firing a gamma pulse that sent Peter flying through a wall. "You can't fight your nature," Vance shouted. "You're an animal." Peter rose, bloodied but burning with resolve. "Maybe, but I'm still Spider-Man." He unleashed a barrage of webbing, blinding the gauntlet. Then, with a final leap, he tackled Vance, clawed hand raised, and stopped. He could kill him. Every cell screamed to do it. But he didn't. Instead, he injected Vance with one of Cho's anti-serums, enough to paralyze, not cure. Then he collapsed, panting. The wolves circled, confused, leaderless. Peter looked at them, eyes glowing. He howled, not in fury, but command. They fled into the shadows. In the aftermath, Cho helped contain Vance and studied the remaining wolves. No cure existed, for them or for Peter. "You're stable now," she said, "but you'll always be this." He looked at his reflection. A man with eyes too wild, muscles taut with unnatural strength, and senses that twitched at the whisper of prey. His spider sense was forever changed, a double-edged sword that warned of threats and temptations. He would never be just Peter Parker again. Or just Spider-Man. He was something else. That night, he swung above the city, fur bristling beneath his torn suit. In the distance, sirens wailed. The moon watched from above, full and pale. He leapt toward the chaos, no longer just the neighborhood Spider-Man. Now, the city had a Spider-Wolf, and God help anyone who tried to harm the people under his watch.